ton of my friends keep on asking me, oh, what should my first credit card be? How should I maximize the credit card game? And hey everyone, I'm Ken, and the reason I'm making this video and all of the videos to come on this channel is because I just got married, went on my honeymoon almost entirely on credit card points on more than a $10,000 redemption value. And the reason that I'm making these videos is because people keep asking me how I did it, how they can do it too. So I decided that instead of repeating myself time and again, I'll just put all of my thoughts into a YouTube video and have it there so that whenever someone asks me a question, I can share with them. But the best way to do that, most applicable to everyone, would be to start with the best card for beginners and work our way down the credit card journey together, such that you can also one day pay for your entire honeymoon on points, and whatever your travel goals are, hopefully we can help you attain them here. So the first credit card that I think every beginner should get is an S-tier credit card. I have no idea why it doesn't get more appreciation. It is incredibly underrated, and it was my first credit card, the Discover It cashback card. At the very basic level, when you're looking at a beginner credit card, you're looking for a card that's easy to get approved, which means you shouldn't have to have that long of a credit history for. Lots of credit cards make sure you have taken out loans before, or have other credit cards, or have been an authorized user on an existing credit card before. With Discover, most people get approved for, or many people get approved for this card without having any credit history at all, or very, very little. So if you're looking for a card that you can get approved for, this hits that first milestone. And number two, it has no annual fee. And again, so many cards have annual fees, and sometimes it's worth paying for them. But when you're looking for your first card, you are looking for a card that has no annual fee, because you want to be able to keep this credit card account open as long as you possibly can. Because one of the biggest factors that goes into your credit score long-term is going to be the age of your oldest credit account. And so starting this earlier and being able to age this account without having to pay an annual fee will work wonders for your credit score long-term, which means your ability to get other cards long-term, and one day a house or a car or other things you need your credit score for. Another thing it helps with, even if it's not your oldest account, is that it brings up the average age of your account. So if you're 30, having an account that you opened at 18 or 20 is going to work wonders for bringing up your average age of account, which also dramatically helps your credit score. But what makes this card so special for beginners is that even though it's easy to get approved and has no annual fee, it has some of the best rewards out there for a credit card that aren't even matched by Amex, Chase, Capital One, and some of the other major credit card issuers out there. So first, let's go over the basics. This card gets you 1% back on everything. That's incredibly standard. I don't know if you'll find a single credit card out there that doesn't give you 1% back on everything, but if you do, you probably shouldn't be getting it. And that's already a leg up for most major debit cards out there. The other key basic point about this card is the fact that it gives you 5% back each quarter on a rotating category of items. So for example, in this year, Q1 was grocery stores, drugstores, and select streaming. Q2 was restaurants and wholesale clubs. Q3 was gas stations and digital wallets. And Q4 has yet to be announced, but historically, they've offered things like PayPal, Walmart, and other categories that at least I personally have found pretty useful. What's great about this, especially if it's your first card, where you might not be having a lot of spend on it if you're a student, for example, is that the minimum amount needed to cash out is actually a penny. There are no minimums. And so you can cash out your 1 penny and cash back whenever you want without having to wait until you reach $1 or $10 or $20 like some other issuers make you wait. And what's great about this card is the amount of ways where you can actually cash out your cash back. You can get it the standard way as a statement credit on your credit card, which means that it counts against whatever you owe to the credit card, but you can also deposit it directly into your Discover bank account. And you can also use your Discover cashback for checkouts on sites like Amazon, sites like PayPal. So it's incredibly easy to actually use this cashback. So those are the basics. You have 1% back in general, 5% back on different categories every quarter, and that's about it. So nothing special yet, But stick around and I promise you'll see why this is an S-tier card that Chase and Amex, frankly, can't even compete with. But before we get into that, let's talk about the sign-up bonus. The sign-up bonus for this card might look okay at the beginning. It's $100, which is way more than nothing. It's more than you'll get for your debit card, but it's much less than some of the $300, $400, $1,000 cashback offers that you see for some credit cards. But the great thing about this, especially being a beginner card, is that those larger sign-up offers, they usually require a ton of spend early on in the card. So for example, if you have a $300 sign-up bonus, you might have to spend $3,000 within your first 3 months of owning the card. For a $1,000, for a bonus that's worth $1,000, you might have to spend $10,000 just to actually get that bonus, and you'll have to spend those $10,000 within a small amount of time, like just a few months. But what's great about this bonus, it's only a $100 bonus, but there isn't a minimum spend. All you have to do is make a purchase, any purchase. So you can go to 7-Eleven, buy yourself a Slurpee for $1.50 and get your $100 sign-up bonus without having to spend thousands of dollars on this card right away, which many students just aren't in the position to do. But that's not even the cheat code that really makes this the ultimate beginner credit card. The cheat code is that you can make the cover of the card any picture you want from a library. I'm kidding, but really you can customize the picture from like a bunch of different cool options online. Really, what makes this the undeniable leader for the beginner credit card is that these mediocre returns that you get, your 1% back on everything, your 5% back each quarter, are suddenly transformed into unbelievable returns. So an average credit card gives you 1% back. A very good credit card will give you 2% back on everything. And so Discover has decided that after your first year of owning this card, they will match your entire first year's cash back, which means all the cash back you earned in year one at 1% back now becomes 2% back. And all of the 5% rotating categories have now become 10% cash back rotating categories. So your 5% back on restaurants in a quarter has now become 10% back on restaurants in that quarter. And if you look at the Chase and Amex credit cards that compete here, the Amex Gold card is unanimously considered one of the best restaurant cards there is. And it gives you 4 points back for every dollar spent at restaurants. And if you value Amex points at 2 cents per point, right, that means it's 8% back at restaurants. But you have to pay a $250 annual fee for this card. And our Discover card over here, in your first year of owning it, is giving you 10% back on restaurants, albeit only for a quarter. But for that quarter, you're getting a better deal than Amex can, and you're getting it for free. So again, your 1% mediocre cash back for everything for the entire year has become a great 2% back. And your 5% back, which was pretty good for rotating categories, has now become unmatched in the credit card world at 10% back for your first year. There is one major part of the credit card, which is the part that the credit card issuer shows you all over the place when you first get a card that we haven't spoken about yet, and that's on purpose. And that's the interest rates that you have to pay on your debt from the credit card. And the reason I didn't bring that up is because it shouldn't matter. And not because it doesn't matter what percent you're paying for your interest. It certainly does if you're paying it, but because you shouldn't be paying it. It shouldn't be relevant. If you're getting a credit card, especially as a beginner, you have to be incredibly careful that every dollar you spend is a dollar you actually have in your bank account, and you have to treat it like you're spending cash. You use a credit card to save up for a free honeymoon. You use a credit card to travel first class when otherwise you wouldn't be able to afford to. You use a credit card so that you're able to go to these crazy once-in-a-lifetime vacations, or maybe just to make your everyday living a little bit cheaper. But you don't use a credit card to finance a life that you can't afford, because then you will be sending yourself in a downward spiral that is incredibly hard to get out of. And so you need to make sure that whenever you get a credit card, the first thing you do is connect it to a bank account and put it on auto pay and treat it like cash. Treat it like a debit card and make sure that you are only spending money that you actually have, and use it as a tool to make your lifestyle more affordable, not as a tool to live beyond your means. With that being said, if you are looking to get into the credit card game, I do think this is the best card for most, if not all of you. And if you want to know where you can find this $100 offer just for making any purchase without a minimum spend, then you can go to the link below. But before you do, understand that I do think this is the most competitive link. I think this is the best cashback offer you can find on the internet for this card. If you are able to find a better one, please let me know and put it in the comments so everyone can get that. If you find a better offer, please use that offer, because I do not want to be the reason you get less money, but I do honestly think it's the best offer you can find on the internet. It is the standard referral sign up, and I also get rewarded if you use that link. So if you like this video, please use that link in the description, and that'll let me know that you want even more of these videos. And liking and subscribing would also be a huge help towards letting me know that you want more of these videos going forward. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you next time.